In addition to the department and employee having a one-to-many relationship and a one-to-one relationship, there is another relationship, a recursive relationship, that is present in this data model. That recursive relationship is of an employee to other employees, having to do with the employee's boss or supervisor. One employee can supervise many other employees, so each employee has right next to them one column called boss number that tells us who the boss of that employee is. To query a recursive relationship, one has to do it in the following manner. A recursive one-to-many relationship exists between one employee and other employees that exist within the employee table. Let's take a look at the employee table first so that we can understand the relationship. By running the query select star from EMP, I'm able to see employee number is the primary key of the employee table. Employee number is present as a foreign key once again as boss number, indicating which employee is the boss of the employee. So for instance, for the employee Ned, who has the employee number 2, their boss is the employee with the employee number 1, that would be Alice. Another example, for the employee with the employee number 8, Sarah, their boss is the employee with the employee number 7. That would be Briar. And so boss number allows us to identify the boss information for each employee. That is the recursive relationship that is present in the employee table. One employee is related to many other employees. One employee supervises many other employees. To query this type of relationship, one needs to take the table and join it to itself. And here's how we can do that. To start joining a table with itself, we're going to start by writing the select part of the select clause. The first thing that we're going to start by doing is writing the from statement. I'm going to leave the select clause blank for the moment. I'm going to start by writing the from clause first. Now, to join a table to itself, we need to create something known as the alias of a table. We need to create a copy of the table. And the way we do that is in the from clause, we say that we want to take the employee table and treat it as a table called boss. We are taking the employee table and creating a copy of it known as boss. And then we are going to join it to another table. We're going to join it to the employee table, but as a copy called worker. And so in lines 42 and 43, we have taken the employee table and created two aliases. We've created one table called boss, or aliased the employee table as a boss table, and we've taken the employee table and aliased it as a worker table. And so now we have two copies of the employee table available in this query. One is called boss and one is called worker. What this might actually look like in terms of a data model is as follows. In creating the table aliases, what we have done is we have taken the employee table, the EMP table, and created two copies of it. Please notice that boss has the same attributes as the employee table, so does worker, the same attributes as that of employee. All we've done is we've created copies of the EMP table as boss and worker. And so now we can treat these as two separate tables that have a relationship between them, where there is a one-to-many relationship between the boss and the worker. A boss supervises many workers, a worker is supervised by one boss, where the boss.employee number is equal to the worker.boss number, the foreign key in worker. Coming back to our query, that would mean the on clause would be boss.emp number is equal to worker.boss number. And now, because I have the aliased tables, I can select the columns I want from those alias tables. I don't have the EMP table accessible anymore in this query because now the EMP table is known as boss and worker. And so I can select the worker's first name as the supervised name, and the boss's, I think it's EMPF name, as and so this will give us the name of every worker and the name of their boss. If I run this query, I get the supervised individual's name and their supervisor. Ned is supervised by Alice, Andrew by Ned, Claire by Ned, Todd by Alice, Nancy by Todd, Briar by Alice, Sarah by Briar, and Sophie by Alice. This is how one can join a table to itself on a recursive relationship. In this case, the relationship is a one-to-many relationship, and for a recursive relationship, we have created aliases of the table looking like this. This is what the aliases look in the form of a data model. And based on that data model, we select the columns that we want from the aliased tables, worker and boss, and those are our new tables that we can use. And so this allows us to run queries like this. For instance, if I wanted to count the number of workers supervised by every boss, I might select. Now again, when you're working with a recursive relationship, the first thing I want to do is I want to write the from statement out. From employee as boss, join EMP as worker on boss.emp number is equal to worker.boss number. And what I want is the name of the boss, a boss.empf name, and I want to count. I want a number of workers, so I want to count off the worker the employee numbers of the workers, and I want to group by boss.empf name. If I ran this query, I would get the number of people supervised by every boss because I have boss.employeef name over here. This is how the one-to-many recursive query works and is operationalized.